So today's topic is about living together. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Why was Joseph's face?
Joseph's face.
It is like a touchy-feely kind of it's a sensitive topic, and I don't know if people are comfortable talking about it because living together before marriage, while in US it's slowly becoming a norm, but in Malaysia it can still be frowned upon. Like, do you have any views on that?
Well, of course, depending on your religious background as well. If you grew up in a religious family, and obviously living together before marriage would be a big deal and usually a no-no. But my family, they're not very religious. I didn't grow up with a religious parents.
Mine is very religious.
But they were very chill.
They were very chill as well at the same time.
So for us, it has always been something I would want to do. Because I want to know if I can tahan the person before actually signing the paper and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So for me,
I get it.
Never been a problem with my parents. Of course not when I'm 19, then I want to move in with my boyfriend. And obviously that would be a no. But now that I'm not that young anymore, my mom is
21 now.
Okay. Yeah. What about you guys?
So, John and I, we here's the thing. We started cohabitating 6 months into the relationship. We decided to live together. So
I was living alone already, so then I don't know. Jen had her issues or whatever, and she wanted to move. She wanted to move somewhere, so I was like, it just makes sense. But we didn't think about it. We didn't think it through before we did it. It was just like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, we didn't think much about the long term, and we'll touch a little bit on that. The effects of not having intentional deliberation about living together. What are the issues that we faced? But for you guys, how long have you guys been together until you decided to move in together?
You want to say this, or just because I forgot the amount of years that we've been together? But I want to just to make sure.
Yeah, you take it.
It could be 12 months. It could be almost 5 years.
No, with Joseph, I took it very slow. Really, really, really slow.
She thought I would cheat on her. I'm sorry. It was a test. It was like.
Who's talking? You're talking or am I talking?
Sorry, you go ahead. My bad.
See, this is the thing that happens even at home, right? But okay, this is going to be our 5th year together, right? Okay. And we decided to move in just a year ago. So towards the end of our 3rd year, then only we decided. It was a conversation that we had to prepare ourselves for, and then only we decided and executed the plan. It was a long journey before we did that. Not unlike you guys. So I guess in this case we're quite different.
So I was doing research this morning. Living together, there are 2 different ways of people approaching it. There is the sliding and there's the deciding. So here's a very clear difference here, because John and I, we slide into DMs like that. We slided into this living arrangement without actual proper thinking. And for you guys, it took you 4 years together until you realized that, I think it's time. But did you talk about the future, or did you talk about the bills? Who's going to pay the bills? Did you outline those things? Was it those kind of serious talks?
Yeah, definitely. How did we come about? Do you know?
I think we use the roommate system. I would call it the roommate system. So everything we have, like the bills, utilities, and stuff like that, is divided among us. So
The question is, how did we come about living together?
Okay, so initially we wanted. How do I put this into words? I was going through a rough patch in the beginning from that, and I wanted to move out from my parents' place, and I actually moved into Maggy's place for a few months before I get my own space.
Yeah.
And
how was that?
It was bad. It was horrible because Am I talking or are you talking? Are you woman seeing me right now?
I'm not talking, I'm
But
just
like,
saying.
but like,
Come closer to
okay,
camera.
so things were bad because I was used to a set of like norm that I usually would do at home. For example, the kitchen, how the bed is supposed to be, the couch, the living room, the organizing and stuff like that. And Maggie was used to her own individual like norm. Like for example,
My system.
yes, your own system, your own house system from that. So I think most of the time, because I was going through something as well.
We were just clashing so
We were
much.
just clashing, we were just locking horns the entire time. So after the 2 months, I moved out. Things started to get a little bit better. Went through therapy and stuff like that. Started like investing myself, and then after that, we had that talk again. We were like, "Do you think we're ready to move in again?" And then like we just sat down, we talked and stuff like that. The past, for example, because there were a lot of like unresolved things, and then finally we came to the conclusion. You know what? Let's take this chance to just hop into it right now and see how it goes. And ta-da!
But yeah, obviously the first round was not planned. Like you guys just kind of we slid into that situation, and we were both not ready. No, because if I put this here, they can't hear me.
Sorry.
So that's why we decided to give it another try. Of course, taking into consideration that we are in it for the long haul, right? Yeah.
I think that's a very important thing. Like, I think it's important for couples to actually have that conversation. If you actually plan to have cohabitation, you can't see it as like, oh, live together only ma, easy. But the slightest thing is like, you know, how you vacuum the floor can also spark argument.
Yeah.
You know, so those little things.
Yes. So many things,
Yeah.
especially during this MCO. My goodness,
Yes.
it's been tough.
Maggie wants to talk about the cloth because a couple of days ago we actually
We fought
argued,
over a
yeah,
cloth, a
as
piece
well.
of cloth.
So I have like.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So
I
you thought
thought
about a
we
cloth.
might- I
Can
might
you
wrap
share
up.
that story a bit?
So a couple of days ago, I was like cleaning. So I've already like separated a few cloths for specific use, all right? So the table.
No. He basically color coded the cloth for everything.
Yeah, I did.
I used the wrong cloth for the wrong thing, and then it became a bombastic eruption that he couldn't deal. He's like, "Why would you use this for this? It's not for that." I'm like, "But it's just a piece of cloth to me. It's all the
I
same."
feel like I
So
need
that's how
to,
it's different.
I needed to like categorize each like cloth.
You're
because-
OCD. That's what.
Yes,
And
I
I'm
wanted
not.
to-
No, but here's the thing though.
Thanks for-
What I notice is, yes, we do argue about all those things as well. Like today, you know, oh no, yesterday actually I was cleaning a kitchen and we had this heated argument. And those of you who know me, I can just go on and on and on. And John's
Oh,
ears
same like
just,
me.
I will go on and I can have this verbal abuse, okay? And then what happened was John just sat there and looked at me. Okay, and then what happened?
To be like John.
Okay. And then I continue cleaning.
Yeah. So he
How did you do
knew,
that?
but that's the thing. We
I want to date
realized
John
that
now.
we learned how to conflict resolution. We learned how to deal with that heated situation, or at least he knew how to handle me, because that's the truth.
I don't know if it works every time, but I just acknowledge, yep, okay, understand, got it. Okay. And then I just went back and did my thing, and then she didn't talk to me for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and
But
then
my
he
question
came to
is,
me.
does it trigger John? Like when she does the whole, does it trigger you? But because you
Yes.
seem so calm, but you just don't yet. That's my
Because I had my point of view of whatever we were talking about, and then obviously I want to argue back, but like I just felt, okay, this is kind of not worth it. So I just okay, and then I realized like how I kind of triggered the situation. So I was like, okay, I'll talk to you in like 10-20 minutes, and we'll talk about this when you're not yelling at me. Oh no, she wasn't yelling. She was just like firing her
Nagging.
points.
I was firing. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I realized MCO, John slowly got more awareness, and he knew how to handle the situation, because it's very delicate, especially with someone like me. I erupt like crazy also. Like I can just from one small thing link to the next to the next to the next. although it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I realized MCO has kind of changed us, and I'll touch a little bit on that later about how being locked together at the beginning, the first week, the second week, we argued a lot. And I want to talk about that later. But right now, I'm very curious, both of you, have you ever cohabitated or lived with anyone else before this relationship?
No. You, Maggie?
I have.
Huh?
I have. Not
Oh.
Joseph.
Not me.
I mean, I have.
What?
Obviously not with you.
Huh? Again?
Ah, shit.
Sorry.
I have lived together with my ex before, and it didn't turn out so good because that was not properly planned. I was just kind of like, it gradually became me staying over so much that I just don't go home anymore. One of those situations, in which I'm sure
It was like this. The start.
is very common, right? Like, but I go home for a while. All my stuff are here anyway. Like, I'll just move in. You know, it became so easy to just have that transition. And I just never felt like I belong because I was living in his space, which was his. This is my experience. It never became our space because I was always the guest. You know what I mean? As compared to me and Joseph's situation now, we decided it together, and we own equal parts of the home, if I make any sense.
Only the kitchen. I own the kitchen. The cleanliness belongs to me. Who makes the food belongs to her. Just want to put it out there.
Yes. Okay, fine.
Well,
That's. I mean, I think we have that issue as well. So like, it was the same kind of thing. That the place that we are in has, like, I've lived here for a few years before even meeting Jen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like my stuff or like my family's stuff is here. So she never felt like it was her own. But I think we've been in this place for like 4 years.
yeah.
Quite
We
long,
lived together
right?
for like 4 years already, more than 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but
I need a girl
before
like, I need a man like John.
before being together with John or cohabitating with him, I was actually, in a long-term relationship, and I did cohabitate with someone else before John.
I don't know how you feel, John.
But I mean, we're sharing. So I want to highlight one experience that I think it's very relatable in the situation right now. So long story short, I slapped. It was during a conversation, a heated conversation. I slapped the guy, my ex-boyfriend. I slapped the guy, and straight after that, he slapped me back. Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Dun, dun, dun. Is there a sound effect for that? Like,
Dun, dun, dun. Don't have dun, dun, dun. Gong.
Oh my god, you guys
So-
prepared like sound effects. Why didn't we do
Yes, honey, look at that.
that? Okay, never mind. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
By the way, back to the topic. Never mind.
Okay,
So
you
yeah,
slapped him back.
so there, what happened was we were arguing about something, and just to recap, I slapped him, and straight away he slapped me back. I remember that feeling. I was like, and straight away I started thinking this sexist thought, like, how can a man slap me?
you just freaking slapped
Exactly.
him.
I slapped him first. Now,
Yeah.
A man slapping a woman slapping a man, I think no slapping should be allowed.
Yeah, don't slap guys.
Yeah. So this was very interesting because I was shaken. I was about to go for my exams. I was shaken. And I went to college and I spoke to my lecturer. And he said this one thing that changed everything. He said, you couldn't discuss or communicate verbally that you had to result in physical abuse. And that got me thinking, like, communication is so important. And especially like right now with the whole lockdown, the whole MCO, I can understand, or I can kind of like, I can see as to why abuse is happening more and more. So this brings me to the start of our MCO. It was we were arguing almost every other day. It was not easy because although we've been together for 4 years, we've not really been together like that.
Yeah.
Like
Like
this
you're
much.
forced.
So
You're forced
basically,
in
stuck. Like legally, we're supposed to be attached to each
Yeah.
other.
And
Exactly.
it's not like we live in a mansion, you know. Like my house is like, I don't know what.
It's comfortable.
Or
It's
not?
humble.
It's
Oh.
a 2-3 bedroom apartment. It's not.
We have a
It's
pool
not like
here.
there's nowhere to go.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's
So-
hard.
Like for you at the first week or so, like what were the challenges that you faced?
You know what? It was our honeymoon.
Really? Oh wait. Really?
The, to me, the,
Subjective reality, my bad. What?
no, only because I felt like the first 2 weeks before I got dengue, we didn't argue as much. I don't know even as much as now.
What? Oh, you already revealed that. That was supposed to be at the 45th minute mark, but like, okay.
No.
But yeah, the first and second week, it was just chilling, you know, like.
Yeah, we were
like,
just chilling because it was supposed to be just 2 weeks. We did not expect it to extend. We didn't know the future. So at the time, we're just like, okay, you know, this 2 weeks, we're gonna take a break from everything.
Yeah. You guys shut your studio, right? So you just took a break from
Studio
everything.
is closed. It's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing. Don't have. It's okay. Just take this 2 weeks to relax and chill. But of course, things changed. We both got dengue after.
Can't believe that. Can't believe you guys both got
Right.
dengue.
At the same
But
time.
even then, I felt like we were very much. That's me lah.
I think it was just us, like in the hospital, like both of us against the virus itself. That's
Yeah, we
why
were both so close.
we didn't care so much about what was happening around
Yeah.
the MCU and stuff like
Yeah,
that. you know.
I felt like the MCO kind of disappeared for
Yeah,
2 weeks
yeah.
while we were in dengue.
Mm.
So our pressure at the time
But we
was
had
very
dengue, not in
different.
dengue. You cannot be in dengue.
Okay.
I just wanted to put it out there. Okay, anyway, so sorry.
But like I think ours was a bit reversed. Like we got okay first. We started off okay, and then shit hits the fan, honey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we came back, we both recovered better, and then only the whole argument every other day. Like can go crazy one, man. I feel like I want to go out the house, but I can't. There's nowhere else to go, and it's tough. I'm gonna say it's really mentally draining and challenging.
because you have no like actual space for you to think of to process whatever has happened, because you're in such a small place. For example, going to the room doesn't really help as well. Being alone doesn't really help as well. So
Because you know that person is right
yeah,
there.
exactly.
But before, as compared to before MCO, let's say you guys argue, one of you can go to the office,
Yeah.
one of you can go to the gym downstairs,
Exactly.
one of you can go out have tea with friends. And now that all that is taken away from us, we are confined to this 10 walls of our
I
home.
wouldn't say 10 walls, we have 4
One, two,
walls.
Okay, 4 walls of the home. So it will be challenging. Yeah.
So, you know, I think the lockdown situation kind of took the whole living together arrangement to the next level. You know, when you live together, people normally think it's a logical step to before marriage, because it's intuitive.
Yeah.
When you know, choosing to live together before you get married is more like a test run. But some research, whether biased or not, showed that people who cohabitate, they have a higher chance of getting a divorce.
Really?
I'm confused as well, but she explained it to me, and then you'll hear the explanation or the research what they prove.
Reason why I'm saying that is because it boils back down to the sliding versus deciding. So this is so interesting, and I'm so excited to share with you. So couples, they based on this research, there were 2 different classes. They had the ones that are lower income, and then the middle income. The lower income, for them, was like, oh, my lease is over already. Might as well just move together. It's more economical, financially sound.
Yeah.
The decision was born out of convenience, as compared to like what both of you did, was sitting down there deciding, like, okay, this is for the long haul. Like, I already have the intention, or both of you already have the intention of seeing how it fares in the future. For us, that's the thing. The flip side was that it was out of convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I really don't mind sharing with everyone is this. So John and I, we live together, we work together, and it has caused a lot of tension in our relationship at the start. And I think John is he's very used to bottling up things, right? Do you think that? You don't know how to express yourself.
Yeah.
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 I didn't notice that until especially right now during the whole lockdown. He actually goes through a lot of brain processes that he doesn't know how to express himself. On my end, I take that as like a lack of initiative. And so in end of 2018, was it?
Mm-hmm.
End of 2018, this kind of these problems forced us to break up for about a month. Maggie, you were there. You
Oh, yes, I
remember?
remember that.
I went through that.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to go, so I decided to live in the office. And being in the office, I started reflecting, and I started thinking like, living together without proper planning is so dangerous because you already share so many things. Like, whoa, we got 3 cats. We got this table that we got together. How are we gonna have that goddamn table?
Yeah.
The car.
Mm.
Those things, if you get married, is protected in some ways, right? So if you do not see cohabitation as like a decisive choice together, and you see it as just like easy ma, convenience only ma, then there is that danger right there. What's your opinion? Like, what do you think about what I shared? Do you think it's logical?
I completely agree because I think I've experienced it the sliding in way. By the way, let's just stay in together. And they just, not once, twice, never end well. So that's why now that I've experienced it differently with a different intention, going in with the intention that both of us are in it for a reason and we are doing it with an intention and a mutual intention. And if shit goes down, we are both responsible. We are both, gonna have to make things happen lah. So I would definitely agree that going in without planning, without mutual intention, I would say, it's kind of a recipe for disaster.
I'm going to drop something. Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, I just it is a recipe for disaster if you don't like think about it properly. But the truth is that we kind of did that, and we managed to like work our way through it.
Yeah. So
Correct,
this is a very interesting point because both of us, we slid into each other's DMs in each other's lives, right? And
You guys slid each other's DMs?
no, we didn't. He pulled my hand in some show,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
in music video, yeah.
Okay.
But my point here is we went through that without thinking, and it was so difficult. Like, we fought so many times. I wanted to move out of the house so many times, but I don't know where to start. All my things are everywhere, and it's like marriage without the benefits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Without the paper.
Yeah. Then this leads me to the next point. Someone said, I read this quote, and I really want to talk about this. A breakup is a lot better than a divorce. What do you think about that?
I thought about it because you sent us some of your notes as well. I thought about it. This particular phrase while I was showering. You have anything you want to share?
I think in the end, it's the both of you agreeing to end something that both of you worked on. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a divorce or a breakup. It's just the both of you just breaking up. I feel.
I think I get what you mean. I'm 50-50 with it. Half agree, half not completely. I wouldn't say, what was the phrase again? Breaking up is
a lot better than
a breakup is a lot better than a divorce.
Mentally, they're both the same.
There's no wrong or right. I mean, like
your heart is broken. You've lost someone you love. On that level, emotional level, they're both equally painful, equally hard to go through. No matter how many times you've been through a divorce, no matter how many times you've been through a breakup. But it really depends on your financial situation, and if, let's say, you're married with kids or without kids. So
Yeah.
it really depends. I feel like that phrase itself, I can't agree completely, and I can't disagree completely as well.
I guess it's context-wise. Again,
Yeah, circumstances.
Circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
what about
what the phrase is trying to say is actually you need to assess your situation before getting married. Like, if you need to break up, you're better off doing this now, and instead of waiting for 5-10 years and having a divorce. That's the way I'm interpreting it. But if you take it literally, a breakup versus a divorce, I would say a divorce is obviously much more complicated. There's money involved. There's like you say, you have to split money, you have to split assets, and you have to you have to come to an agreement with a lawyer, and there's like a whole mess that you have to go through. So I would, if you're just literally putting them on scales, I would say a divorce is way worse than a breakup.
So this is very interesting. Remember, I said that people who cohabitate have a higher risk of getting a divorce. I want to touch on this sliding, all right? Because that's something that I want to repeat over and over again, because that was something that we did. That was the mistake that we did. You know, people who choose to live together out of convenience, slowly that convenience becomes a habit and becomes like, oh, I'm comfortable in this. And this comfort leads you to marriage because it was a comfortable, reasonable choice. That wasn't like a deliberate thought, because you live together already, might as well. So that's the thing that I'm very worried about for youths these days. To want to live together, it's a terrible idea to might as well live together, you know. So if that, in that case, getting a divorce, you know, after you are married for what, 2-3 years, and then you realize what have I done in my life? You don't want to feel that, right?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I feel like, because I come from a broken family, right? My father, before getting married, was the perfect man. Perfect. Before getting married with my mom, when they were dating, obviously, you know. But after marriage, he completely changed. So obviously my mom wouldn't have seen it coming that he would turn into this person that is unrecognizable, that is, you know, a dipshit basically. That's why for me personally, because of my personal trauma and my personal experience, the whole breakup is better than divorce. It really depends. Sometimes people are changes with time and with experiences and with the people that you're around with. So for me, both equally bad, but yeah, I do agree with what John said as well.
Then that links me to the next point. Cohabitator, this is a very interesting phrase as well. Cohabitators are less motivated to really dig in and learn the conflict resolution skills. So remember earlier, you mentioned about how you know, some people are worried about commitment, and that's why they choose to go through the whole cohabitation route, because I don't want to get married. You know, I mean, sometimes I'm like this. Okay? But that's the thing. I think it's so interesting because I think there is some ring of truth to it. Because, you know, you're not married, there's no papers. So you put lesser emphasis on learning these little things like conflict resolution, which is a very, very important thing. Do you feel that both of you are, do you think that you have worked out some form of conflict resolution?
Yeah.
Over the past few years we've been together, we found out like what works and what doesn't for us. So for example, if we were in a heated argument and things don't resolve within the hour or the half an hour that we talk, usually I will be the one engaging. Hey, I really don't want to talk to you right now. I want to go back to my own space right now. I'll talk to you, you know, whenever I want to talk to you. And initially, it took me about 5 days. I'm not very proud of saying that, but like it took me.
You would take 5 days.
Take 5 days for me to just, you know, to think through what I've said, to think through what we had to go through. And throughout the years, I've realized that, like, okay, Joseph, this works for you. You're only avoiding the problem. but you have to be conscious about it. You have to understand what Maggie is going through right now. It's not just you in the relationship anymore. It's the both of you against the problem right now. So throughout the years, I've learned that I can have my own space. Maggie allows me to give me my own space to go into my personal space for me to think it through, for me to heal. But I need to go back. I need to settle the problem with her. I need to talk it out with her as well. Because again, in the end of the day, it's not just you, it's the both of you.
That's a really good quote. Like, it's not just you, it's both of you. That's another thing about living together. It's no longer what you want anymore. That's another thing that people need to, they need to consider, because you're living with your partner. You can't just, I feel like eating, I'll just eat. You have to somehow, living in the same space, you have to kind of, even something as simple as a meal. Do you experience that?
Yeah.
Arguments over a meal?
No. As in, like, you have to be considerate, even something as simple as a meal.
Like, you won't just eat on your own and then Joseph eats on his own.
Yeah.
You guys tried to eat together,
we
right?
Wait
or like
for
at least
each other, or we will ask, hey, can I eat first? Should I eat first? Things like that. But I also want to add, the reason why we could, I guess, resolve conflict, I wouldn't say very well, but better than we were before, because we also go to therapy. And therapy was the turning point, I would say, of our relationship. Because otherwise, I don't think we would have been able to last until now. Even now, it's difficult, but we have the tools that we need to kind of navigate and resolve and cope with whatever conflict that could be happening right now, as compared to when we first started out, both locking horns over and over again.
We both have our own thoughts and values and what we believe in and stuff like that. And imagine clashing into it. It's really tiring. Let me tell you that right
over
now.
And over again. That's
over
why
and
people
over
break
and
up.
Constantly. Yeah, that's why people break up, because they choose not to go against it, not to basically. They choose not to deal with it, basically.
Yeah.
And if you're conscious enough to deal with it from there, to talk it out, to communicate your feelings instead of what you want it to be, and understand and empathize, show grace to your partner, that works for us.
That is one way to resolve conflict as well. Empathy.
It's not easy though when
It's
you're
not easy.
heated.
Oh, man,
because
bro,
when I'm heated, I don't know how to show compassion to this one right here. Really, my mouth is toxic as shit. Really, I can put him down like, oh my goodness. Do you want to share your experiences? Anything you want to add to this? Don't worry, it's absolutely, you can say anything you want. I won't be angry. We are live.
No,
John,
it's
after only I'm angry.
Yes, my chance. We're gonna save this video as well.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with it. It's not as bad as she says, but yeah, if a conflict starts, it does somehow end up in like a different topic and other things that she wants to verbally abuse me with. Like other things will come up that she wants to say, although it's not really related to it. But like, for example, if I put things around the house, I'm not cleaning up after myself or something, it will go from that to you don't care about this, you don't care about that,
you don't care about me.
This just shows how, like, the way you are, and like but yeah, I guess that's quite normal though. Like, when you're heated, you think this is like, this is related to this, and that's why this annoys me, and this is related to that, so that's why that annoys me, and then you just kind of let it all out.
Yeah, so that's why it's important to know that when you're with your partner, you need to understand these little nuances. Like, for me, if I'm angry, leave me the fuck alone. Sorry guys, if you're kids, I will swear, because there's no brands here, I can say anything I want. But
yeah, leave us alone.
But for me, it's this, like, I really, really, when I'm angry, whoever is right next to me, I'm on attack mode. And John, on the other hand, when he's angry, he wants to resolve it there and then.
Yeah, I mean, we watched. If you watch Maggy's podcast, we did discuss this as well. We noticed that Maggie and I were very similar in the sense that we always want to resolve the
there
problem.
and then.
Yeah, right there and then. Like, even though you're yelling at me, no, let's sort this out. No, I fucking hate you. And then it's like, no, but we can work this out.
Go away, fuck off. way.
Really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
words, Maggie. I wonder where you learned that from. Definitely not me. I didn't do any of that. I've never spoken
But it's
those words before.
Vanessa and Jen and Joseph were the ones that would want to, have space. Yeah.
Yeah.
They-
So
don't wanna talk.
cohabitation is also another part of it is also tolerating and being able to reason out these kind of things, because we're all different human beings and somehow the opposites attract.
Yeah.
That's the beauty and the sucky part of it.
I think just living together, like whether you think it's a good thing before marriage or not, or in general just moving in together, it is a great way to, if you are aware or you start thinking about it or go through those problems, it is a very good way to learn like resolution and how to navigate each person. And if the two people really clash after like a few years and you cannot get past it, then you know that that's not the right person for you. But if you do work towards, how to help each other in different situations, then living together is a perfect way to do that. It's not pretty at times,
It's not.
but it's definitely, it's helped us, I think, a lot.
I don't want to bring back the past,
Okay. but she's going to
But
anyway.
That's usually how you bring back the past, right?
This is important. Like, there's the highs, there's the lows.
Yeah.
And in my past, I remember right after the breakup, after living together, I told that Fleur,
The floor.
Who is this guy?
get out of the house.
Who is this
Get out of the
fella?
house first. I need to go and pack all my things. So I remember this so clearly. I'm sure Maggie, if you can relate to this, do share as well. I remember going into the house. I grabbed everything of my own first, and then all the presents that I got for him, I
You
took
take
it
back.
back. I take it back.
This is
And
like-
this vengeance,
Like a movie.
this vengeance is not protected by anything. Do you get what I mean? There's no documentation whatsoever.
Mm.
So it's so dangerous. It's such a delicate thing, and it can be so ugly. There's the pretty part, like, whoa, John making lunch for me. Wow, what a great thing. But when shit hits the fan, I remember, Maggie, you shared a little bit about your previous thing. Like when shit hits the fan, remember that packing feeling. Like, do you still recall that?
Of course, I remember packing, but in the end, like 5 minutes later, I have to pack it back inside because I have nowhere to go.
See, this is
This
why.
was when I was very young, and I was just kind of like impulsively packing because I was just mad. I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna move out. Fuck you, we're gonna break up. So both of us just were so fired up. So obviously because I lived in his house, I packed lah. But then the next day, I mean not 5 minutes lah. The next day we were okay again. I brought my things back to the house.
Sorry.
So and that I feel is a very
Good, Joseph?
toxic, unhealthy cycle.
No, I mean like, I think the takeaway for this is that like don't let your temporary emotions dictate your future between you and your partner.
And
It's so important to calm down first and think it through. Again, temporary emotions is anger. Don't let anger take control of your life, take away that control of your life as well. I mean, I say all of these things, right? And I sometimes try to put it into practice, but I know it's so hard again.
Yes.
But these sort of habits, you need to constantly practice it with your partner.
it's like creating habit, like you said.
Creating an environment for you guys to practice from there. Again, we're not perfect. We're just humans. We're just trying to learn each other at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But someone actually said something that I kind of disagree. Like, you don't have to tolerate the other person. You just need to accept them for who they are. I feel that one I can't.
Just like find the perfect human being for you, and then that doesn't exist,
No one is perfect, and there will be things that you cannot accept or you dislike or you're not okay with. And that's when, are you just going to accept it and be okay with it even though you're not? Or share your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts to your partner that, hey, when you do this, I'm not so okay with it. Maybe find a middle ground. Or if it's something that is toxic, that is not, shouldn't be done, then at least your partner needs to be aware. And by having that awareness, both of you are able to, maneuver your emotions better. Like, okay, I never told him about this. So he doesn't know that I don't like this. He would think that, why am I pissed off over this when I don't tell him? You know what I mean? So stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't
So
agree
that's the
with
thing,
completely.
like, if you accept and you continuously accept, the problem with that is slowly you will build resentment.
Yeah.
If you're not
Yes.
accepting willingly, you build resentment and you build contempt.
Correct.
And that is
Yes.
the number one thing that makes people break up, that makes divorce happen, contempt. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the future, but right now we're slowly running out of time. I did send this to Maggie and Joseph. There's this challenge that they're very nervous to do, and we've done this in the first like 6 months, 4th month in the relationship.
Yeah, a couple years, I think, but okay.
But I would highly recommend for all couples to try this. Right now, we're going to demonstrate this. We're going to be super awkward. It's going to be 4 minutes of pure silence, uninterrupted.
serious?
Yes, 4 minutes. We're going to stare at each other.
I feel like I'm already blushing.
Wait, I'm gonna put my.
But that's what we're going to do. Okay, I really recommend this because something weird will happen. Maybe, maybe not. But it's time for us to experiment. And we
Something
have
weird.
4 minutes.
I've never
I have
blushed
the
before in
timer
my
here
life.
right now.
Okay. So how can we stare into the screen like this?
No.
No, it's not.
No,
I'm
it's
still
like
looking
this.
into his eyes.
No.
Wow.
No.
Hey, watch out.
Okay,
Jen,
the
Maggie
timer
might
here
steal your
again.
gun.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh? Okay, I gotta have to say this, yeah. Before this
What?
live, we were just arguing, so this is gonna be tough.
Actually, also earlier we were arguing right before this.
Do you guys like
It's
thought
real,
like maybe I
guys.
should
It's
cancel this
real.
live session? Because no.
Okay, no, we gotta start.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
All right.
Yeah.
3. Must look at each other. You cannot talk shit one. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Time starts.
What if we burst into laughter?
Burst lah, but you cannot talk. Enough. Done talking.
Let's raise the stakes now. Say something nice about your partner.
Okay, I go first.
You go
I
first.
really like your cooking.
Sorry.
What?
Jen to John now.
I really, really, really love it that you cook for me.
John to Jen now.
I appreciate how much you care for the house right now.
Joseph
No.
to Maggie.
Thank you for giving me the space I need. You to me now, Maggie.
Maggie.
Thanks for cleaning the dishes every day. Because I hate cleaning.
Now let's do it one more time right now. Jen to John again. One
Okay.
more last one.
I really love how you love me.
Oh. Now
Okay.
John to Jen.
Thank you for understanding and helping me understand my problems in the past few weeks.
Joseph to Maggie.
You're right. Thank you for taking care of me while I was in the hospital.
You need to come in the frame, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for.
You need to look at me.
Oh,
You
sorry,
can't look
sorry,
at. You can't look at
sorry.
it. Why are you so shy now? You were shouting at me earlier.
I cannot look at you guys.
Are you looking in between my eyebrows? I taught you that, you know.
Thank you for. Thank you for. When you're laughing, I can't say it.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you for taking care of me when I was sick, also.
Why are you copying my thank you style?
Okay, guys.
How much?
Wait, this is
We
supposed to be in
have 1 more
silence.
minute.
Okay,
One
this
more
one in
minute.
silence. In silence.
We do it silently. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, ready?
No, silently,
Oh,
brother.
okay.
Don't talk.
I just want to add, like, you grew a bit older. You look a bit older right now compared to the first day we met.
I'm not supposed to talk lah.
Sorry, I just cannot help it.
Don't talk. It's very hard for me to stare at you.
Just look in the eyes. Fall in love with me again.
Stop it.
see fire. Hey! Fire means passion. I see it in your eyes, Maggie.
Silence. They can hear you, you know.
Oh shit, I forgot.
Hey, how long? Why so long one? Oi!
Wait, why you slap me?
I brush your face.
Abused.
Wait, shut up!
That's why I talk so much, Tiama. He's trying to cope. He cannot shut up. That's why.
I'm biting my tongue now. Wanna make up? Don't make up.
Okay, time!
Sorry for that.
Wow!
Okay.
Joseph can't not talk.
I cannot.
No, I know why.
Whenever it's very
Joseph,
awkward, I have
I
to
know
talk.
why.
That's the thing.
Joseph,
Why?
I think it's because you're actually shy and you're really awkward, so you fill the silence
That's
with
why.
words.
Like, whenever I talk a lot of nonsense, it's how I cope, basically.
Yeah.
I really cannot stop it.
Maggie, how do you feel?
Nothing so bad right now. Sorry.
What?
Maggie, how do you feel?
I'm blushing. Can you see?
Oh,
I'm
wow,
not
she
sure
is
it's
her
from all the
secret.
laughing.
Her cheeks are all red.
Can you see? I don't know why. If it's from all the laughing or I cannot stare at Joseph in the eye. I don't know what. I don't know why. So it's a thing that I have. I'm very, very shy.
John?
We've
Oh,
tried
John,
this before. I'm comfortable with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but what's the feeling?
So yeah, I guess you start to just kind of like, well, it sounds super cheesy, but you start to admire, or you start to just like think about that person. Just like everything stops and you just think about that person. So
I need a
like
guy
all
like
the
that.
stuff that's going on in your world, like for that 4 minutes, you're just looking at your girlfriend or your partner.
You need a guy like that.
I need a guy like that. I need a guy like that.
No,
Or maybe
that's the
just
thing.
Joseph isn't like that.
No, but maybe because, we're doing a live stream and that's why it's like really, really awkward. But I urge you to actually try it. I personally, I know we were joking, we're talking shit earlier and stuff, but then those few moments, just little moments, it just makes me feel like, wow, this is the guy. This is the guy I want.
Sexy delicious.
What about you, Maggie?
Yes,
Do you share the same thoughts as Jen?
Why are you yelling to the camera?
Sorry, I just want to put my message out there. Do you guys hear me? Is the line back?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It definitely makes you, it just makes you like appreciate that moment for 4 minutes, or like what you did just now, like where you say something that you appreciate, because sometimes you might not say it, but
Yeah.
at that moment you do think of it and you say it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, I want all couples, if you're living together, whether you're married or you're just living together, I want everyone to try this experiment. Think of it as an experiment, and try your best to not talk. Because when you talk, you start to make the situation like you're so focused on your words. Try not to just use words, like just use your eyes. And I know it's very awkward, and it is awkward at the start, but slowly something magical will happen, and I think it's really cool. I hope that you guys try it, but if you don't also, it's fine. I'm never ever gonna tell you what to do.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys, thank you so much for this session.
Thanks for having us. That was
Thank
fun.
you.
I think it was so great.
Yeah, I feel like we only like scratched the surface of.
Yeah, I feel like
of-
there was so much more that we want to share, but obviously next time maybe part 2 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
There's-
But
You know
it's
what?
such, it's such a big topic.
It's a big topic, and I think we are very interesting, two different types, polar couples, to actually discuss about this, and I really hope that we get the chance to the next time. But right now, for the time being, we only have this. We have literally 5 more minutes, so I just want to say thank you so much. And studio audience, please make some noise. Woo!
Oh my god, dude, we need to get one of those. I really want that now.
Joseph, there's such thing as called
Just
YouTube.
download this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can make
But
a
you're
video
right,
audience,
Jen. We are both so
Yeah.
different. Like both of us, me and Joe and John and you, so different couple. We
Yeah.
function so differently. It's crazy, right?
I want to talk more about this, and I think that if you guys are open for it, we can again open up like airing out our dirty laundry next week, and I think it's almost therapeutic as well. We're taking the
Yeah.
time to reflect on our week,
Yeah.
And
like
ourselves.
sharing, and the real situation of living together, and even if you're not living together, being with your partner, it's not the easiest thing. Having a boyfriend or girlfriend, there's a super high, there's a super low.
Yes.
So high, so low,
And the solo.
I'm always so high.
yeah.
Right, Maggie?
You guys don't get it, is it? No? So
I get it.
Got it.
Okay, guys.
high
I will
it is.
speak
no,
to you guys.
so Maggie, you're mind your language. Your kids
No,
man.
it's either I'm very always high or you're so
I-
high.
No, I'm so high now.
Oh, okay.
I'm always so high.
Okay, I was so high with you guys messaging via WhatsApp. Okay. Again, thank you so
Okay.
much. Sending you nothing but love and positivity. Okay.
Thank
Likewise,
you.
you guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Take care.